Hello, my friends. How are you? Thank you for stopping by. My name is Jason, and this is the Outstanding Life Show. And we talk about everything recovery. We talk about addiction, alcoholism, and we talk about some of the challenges that we face in the world of recovery. I wanted to try something new with season 2. Season 1, we focused on like one topic and we jumped into it. I think we went deep into the topic. We went a good 30, 40 minutes in some cases, even longer. And by the time we finished that one topic, we had gone over everything that we possibly could. Now, some of my longest videos got some of the most watch time. So there were more people that had watched the longer form videos. But what I'm finding really interesting is that my shorter form videos, when I talk about 10, 15 minutes, those videos gain the most engagement. I get the most comments. I get the most messages afterwards. You guys send me questions. It's amazing, some of the questions you guys ask. And I want to make that part of the show. I want to have a spot where we can go and ask questions freely and not have to worry about it. And I wanted to go and focus on season 2, a little bit different than season 1. I wanted season 2 to be short form, and I wanted to have it more frequent. So we're going to be going live more often. You'll see more of me in this live show, but we're going to be going 10 minutes instead of 30 minutes. And then, I might stretch to 15 in some cases, but mainly we're going to be going shorter and then more often. And then we're going to have a theme, but we're going to run the theme a whole month. And then the month will go, there's 12 months in a year, right? So we're going to have 12 steps. So we'll go over each step as a month. And then as we round up each month, we'll move on to the next month. And then in that month, we'll have an AMA. We'll have some of the questions you guys ask. And I've been saving them. And I've been preparing some of the thoughts and my answers to some of them. I do reply to them right away. But I did want to go and share because some of these questions I find really engaging. And some of the questions do help shape the show. And I want to celebrate the community. I want to celebrate the engagement and the trust you share. So that's just the state of where we're at. And then the hope of where we're going is we'll be having more often shorter episodes in the TLDR. Not to worry. Something new I'm also trying out is I've got a Facebook Messenger bot set up. So if you're watching on Facebook, you can go and type notes in the comments below, and then we'll have today's show notes delivered to you through Facebook Messenger. Now, if you're watching on YouTube and you won't be able to type notes in the comments. It doesn't work the same way. But if you were to go and type in the address outstanding.video/notes, that address will redirect you to Facebook Messenger where you'll then get the notes delivered to you. So it does bring you over to join the conversation on Facebook, but I'm only going to be posting the recordings afterwards to YouTube. But I wanted to be inclusive of both the communities on Facebook and YouTube. So if you're excited and you want to know more, go ahead and type notes in the comments or visit the link below. All right. Now the notes themselves, I decided to take also, because these notes are probably like 2-3 paragraphs, like nothing major. But I decided to take that information, those paragraphs, and then I posted them on a WordPress blog. So I'm having the Facebook Messenger pull the data and then delivered to you by Facebook Messenger. And those show notes are what's displayed on the blog. So I've linked everything back to the blog. So if you go check out the blog, in every post, you'll see the video corresponding with it. And then you'll also be able to go and see the videos that I have planned coming up. So if you want to find out more about what we're talking about and you want to find out, you can go check out the blog. And then again, you can see what content we're going to be chatting about. And then if you want them delivered to you, by that point, if you're reading the blog, you can see it yourself. But if you're watching the video and then you want to get that information because you want to have it, that's where the notes come in. This saves you from having to go check out the blog, and it just delivers it to you wherever you are, be it on Facebook or Messenger or YouTube. Sorry. Anyway, okay, so step one. So this today, the show for today is, I titled it, I believed that I was in control. So when I say believed I was in control, what does that mean? When I say believed I was in control, I tried to come up with a statement that was similar to, have you ever been in that spot? And if you have been in that spot, let me know. Type in the comments if you agree. If you have that thought of, I want to go do this thing, but I'm going to go start tomorrow. Or, I know I've got those dishes, I'll just do them later. I'm not so much talking about the procrastination part, but it's about where we have that opportunity to either take action or we have to give ourselves an excuse. So I guess that kind of is procrastination. But what I'm referring to is I'm feeding either one of those two opportunities. I'm feeding my time. And if I'm feeding my time with this excuse-driven purpose, I'm probably not going to get a lot done. And if I believe that I'm in control, am I truly the one that's choosing to feed one or the other? Because I know the positive side of me, the uplifting part, is the one that wants to go do these amazing things. I want to live this outstanding life. I want to live this alcohol and substance-free, healthy mindset. But if I'm feeding myself an excuse, I'm just going to start that tomorrow. I'm probably not going to get it done. Like, I know myself. I remember this a few years ago, when I was making the decision to go get some help and to go to treatment, I was presented with the opportunity I think this was in the fall when I was having this conversation, and then it was presented like, we can schedule that in the future. Your birthday's in the middle of January. Why don't we reconvene in the new year? And then my thoughts were, but I know myself, if I wait to start in the future, I'm probably not going to do it. Just like that excuse, if I give myself, I'll start doing the dishes tomorrow. I'll start learning Spanish tomorrow. I'll start challenging myself tomorrow. If I don't do something in the moment, I'm not saying learn Spanish right now. Don't learn Japanese overnight. You know what I mean? What I am sharing, though, is, maybe I can't learn all of Japanese, and maybe I can't go 0 to 60 with sobriety. But what I can do is I can focus on the next right thing for me to do. If I'm being overburdened by trying to swallow the whole ocean, I'm probably not going to want to drop if I can't have the whole thing. That's the addict brain. That's the alcoholic mind creeping in and saying, well, there's no way you're going to be able to get all the water. You can't do all the dishes by the time the next commercial is over, or you're not going to learn Spanish before the fall. So why do you even bother? And it's that doubt that will stop me from doing great things. And that's the belief where thinking that I'm the one in control, while I am the one that's making the decisions, the part that's feeding, remember I was mentioning earlier, the part that's feeding one of those two, if I'm feeding my time into one of those two selves, one of them is going to have great success and the other one is going to have no changes in their circumstances, no changes in their opportunities, no changes in their outcomes. And admittedly, I sat at that spot for so long, at that pathway where the indecisiveness exists. Now, I don't know if you can agree with me or if you've seen this yourself or if you can understand where I'm coming from. I'm not saying that in my addiction I was avoiding responsibility. I had the different priorities. Like in the heat of my addiction, I wasn't focused on living an outstanding life. I wasn't focused on living, I wasn't deliberately putting my mindset on destruction or the lack of healthy mindedness. I don't know how to say that. But what I was focusing on was trying to get more money. I was trying to focus on obtaining new things. I was trying to obtain social status. I was trying to have fun. every weekend after payday. And these kinds of decision making priorities would lead me into that mindset where, okay, I'm with presented those two opportunities, and if I have that focus of which one of these will bring me more money, I don't want to do the dishes, so that'll take away from everything else. So I would use that priority as an excuse to not do these things that would benefit me, that would help me. I still don't know Spanish or Japanese, but I did get my dishes done. I did get sober that day. I did, I couldn't learn everything overnight, but what I could do is make the decision that what I'm going to do is take control of my life. I'm going to shift my focus into something else. There were parts of me, like before I cleaned up, before I put my healthy hat on, where I thought I was in control, and I would make these decisions that were only delaying. So they were like mitigating, where I'll just switch. I know what I'll do. I'll switch from regular beer to light beer, as if that changes anything. It's still beer. Or I would try and tell myself, I'm going to moderate my consumption. I'm going to, rather than have 1 6-pack, I'll just have half a 6-pack. But the part of me that was still deciding that a 6-pack was a good idea was still the one making the decision. Like, yes, I was consuming less, but that wasn't solving the issue that was causing me to be back in that situation habitually. And that's where the self-destructive pattern comes from, is I couldn't tell the difference from the forest from the trees, but I knew that I was in a bad situation, but I wasn't willing to make a decision to change it. And that's a very dangerous spot. Like, that's a very slippery slope. Like, that's actually harmful. And that's where, if I stay in that position for too long, and I'm not saying by not doing the dishes you're risking yourself. No, what I am saying is, if left unchecked, that thought process can lead to a very destructive pattern. That can lead to horrible outcomes. The whole Swiss cheese model, where one slight opportunity with holes in it compared to another opportunity with holes in it, there's still holes there somewhere where it only takes one tiny opportunity to cause a catastrophic event. And that's where it wasn't until I hit that rock bottom, until I bottomed out, until I reached the lowest of the low, that I was open and willing to look beyond that, where the focus I had was trying to get more, that it wasn't helpful, beneficial, and it wasn't supportive of this life I had wanted to live. But it wasn't until I hit that low level that I became motivated to follow through with it. Like, I knew that there were these things I wanted to do, but I wasn't strong enough or brave enough to want to push through it. I knew I had these fears, these deep-seated fears about what life would look like after sobriety. Like, if I decided to stop drinking and consuming today, what would tomorrow look like? What about my friends? What about the next Friday? It was those questions that would stop me from ever moving through it. And so me believing that I was in control wasn't actually happening. It was just, I was the one that was deciding which of the time to feed, but I was always only feeding the one negative self, that harmful, self-destructive self. And I couldn't tell why I was doing it. I just knew that's what I had grown accustomed to. That's what I was choosing to fill my time with. But it wasn't until I reached that powerlessness, it wasn't until I got to that spot where I am lacking the tools to push through this. I don't know how to succeed. And it wasn't until I reached out for help that when you take the first step, that's when I decided I need something else other than what I'm doing. And that's where the treatment program came in. That's where admitting I was powerless over alcohol and other drugs, that's where that helped reaffirm that not only was I not alone, but there was a whole support structure around me, that I could have an A team. My friend June would tell me that, Jason, I'm going to introduce you to your A team. And I never heard that before. Like, I'd seen the TV show, but it wasn't until somebody referenced it that I could have an A team, that this was that body. and they were only one person that was in my A team, I was like, I imagined then a positive outcome. I imagined that there was a successful endeavor that included me. And it wasn't until somebody believed in me that I could believe in myself that gave me, the very first instinct to push forward, even though I didn't know what the outcome was. And so that was the first step, believing I was in control, yes, but it was also identifying that while I wasn't the one in control, I was the one choosing to feed my time into something else that I didn't want. And it wasn't until I hit that bottom that I was open and willing to change it. And it wasn't until somebody believed in me that I started to believe in myself. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening to that. That was actually a whole bunch of information. If you're new here, my name is Jason. This is the Outstanding Life Show. We talk about recovery, addiction. We talk about mindfulness. And we're talking about season 1 was about long form video. This one's going to be short form, so I'm just wrapping up here. And if you like what we're chatting about and you want to know more, type notes in the comments if you're watching on Facebook, or if you're watching on YouTube, you can go to the address below or up above. I'm not sure where it is. It's outstanding.video/notes. And then we'll have the notes sent out to you. It sends it to you by Facebook Messenger. So it does bring you over to the conversation so we can get more people on, because you guys send me questions afterwards, which I think is really cool. And I want to I'm going to celebrate that I'm going to have a show where we go over those, that month's questions or something. Anyway, okay, so I also want to do something different with season 2. We're going to have an action of the day, and we're going to have a gratitude of the day. So for gratitude, I'm thankful that my higher power challenges me. So today I still know that I'm presented with the same opportunities to feed one of those two selves. And I'm thankful that when presented with that opportunity, while it is a challenge, I'm thankful that I still have that challenge to make, where I'm still here to make that decision. And thanks to my program, thanks to the 12 steps, thanks to my higher power, my support system, my great community, I've got the strength and the commitment to want to see it through. I play the tape to the end, and I make the decision that works, that serves a better tomorrow. So I feed the positive light rather than that negative self-destructive self. I've done that before, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Now I focus on something else other than that, and that's where the show comes from. That's the Outstanding Life side. Okay, so that's the gratitude of the day. If I talk about the action of the day, today I'm going to share with a close friend what I'm working on. There are some times where I'm afraid to share what I'm working on, and in hopes that it doesn't work or that it's not something that's going to be productive or valued. But I find that in sharing that transparency, that allows to have that healthy conversation about, well, what is working and what does success look like? And unless I'm willing and open to face that feedback, I'm not able to nail down what's working. If all I ever do is just keep it inside and I never share it, if I never communicate, then all it's ever going to do is stay inside. And I'm always going to wonder, what if I had done that? Why don't I just do it and share my progress along the way and celebrate the wins when they happen? And if it's not working, well, that's okay, because I can help take another direction and shape it into something else. Okay. Thanks so much for hanging out. I really appreciate that. I love my community, and I love you guys for showing up. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you in another episode, okay? Take care. Bye.